Okay, so let's start today's session. So first of all, good morning all of you and welcome to Speak Bharat, the ultimate study platform. Okay. So in today's sessions, we are going to discuss solar energy, right? Their challenges and their means do we really need that solar energy or not? So in our India, generally we use that means our energy consumption, okay, is basically from in a traditional way or generally coal-based energy we consume, okay, in our India. So as considering our population day by day, our population is increasing. Apart from that, technology is growing day by day. So for that also we need electricity. So consumption of electricity obviously in the future. So we need huge electricity. So for that means we are dependent on that non-renewable energy. Okay. So obviously considering our technology, advanced technology, considering our increased population, and day by day we need a high electricity, and for that we need to find another solutions. Okay, so for that renewable energy is the good source for that, and which includes solar energy, wind energy, hydropower energy. So we are going to discuss today. Okay, so what do you know about the solar energy, or if you tell me the difference between renewable and non-renewable energy?
Solar energy is that uh, who gen who generate with the help of sunlight,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
solar energy is reusable energy, and it's very cheap also
Hmm.
as compared than electricity, normal electricity.
Hmm.
And in pan India, we are working for solar energy, and there are more so much solar plants is in India, in our India.
Hmm.
And in Rajasthan, there is worldwide biggest plant in Rajasthan also.
Right. Solar panel installed in Rajasthan.
Yes.
Okay. Next, Ayla ma'am.
Yes, sir. Solar energy is created by sunlight, or it converted the energy directly from sunlight, and sunlight is free for all of us. It is no need to pay that for sunlight, so it is cheap. You can say cheap for everyone, or it is accessible for everyone, or affordable for everyone.
Okay, accessible means in the world, anyone means it is the same
No,
for everyone.
no, actually, yes, it is the same for everyone. As compared, it means economically. But in the world, there are, I think, so many areas or countries, they don't have a proper sunlight. So they getting difficulty, or they can't access that solar energy.
Okay. Okay. So see, do you know that Paris Agreement recently in last year or in last 2 years? Okay, in Paris there were many countries involved. See, when we talk about the global warming, so generally whenever we use that coal-based energy, so it produces greenhouses, and because of that, okay, there is a rise in temperature, and rise in heat. So ultimately, it is harmful for our next generations. So that's why Indian government or India also has made some commitments in that Paris Agreement. So where by 2030 we are going to use means whatever the electricity or energy we use. So out of that 100%, by 2030 we are going to use 50% energy, okay, from renewable energy, means like solar or wind power, and 50% will be our traditional way or means coal based energy. So we have made this commitment, and also for that, because see, when we talk about the globally, so there is a depletion of ozone layer, apart from that increase in temperature. So that's why, considering that, also we have some responsibilities as a nation. So that's why we have made many commitment in this. Yes, Sanket.
According to everybody, solar energy means energy which is created with the help of the sun or other energy sources, we can say that. So I think we can, it is a means it is a form of the energy, and we can say that it is a renewable energy, because solar is a form of, means we can say that sun is a itself is a form of the energy. So with the help of the sun energy, we can create the new energy. That's why.
Okay, I would like to mention the difference between renewable and non-renewable. Okay, non-renewable means let's take example about the petrol or diesel. Okay, so whatever the sources are available at present in our country or across the world, so there is some limit. So after few years, few decades, okay, so obviously those sources are going to be end. Okay, but when we talk about the renewable energy, so it will never end, because as you know, okay, so continuously we can use that. So this is the basic difference between these two, renewable and non-renewable. Yes. So let's take about the advantages of solar energy one by one.
Advantage of solar energy, as per my opinion, solar energy is first renewable energy, and it's very carbon free energy.
Okay, means it doesn't produce carbon
Yes,
emission or greenhouse
greenhouse effect.
okay.
And it's this is increasing our technology also. And we can use again and again. We can save also as different frame. If we are using solar power, so we can save our energy, and we can distribute to others also. So I think it's the source of our income.
Right. So by selling that electricity,
By selling
which
that
is generated
electricity.
by that solar panels or solar energy.
Yes.
Okay. Next.
Yes, sir. There is in solar energy, there is no need to buy main ingredient, because sunlight is free for us.
Everyone.
Yes, everyone. And solar energy generation does not release greenhouse or gases. So there will be no side effect, or negative effect. Like there will be no negative effect. And solar energy, it's good for environment. Then and it's pollution free. Yeah, eco friendly, and it's pollution free, and it's a clean energy.
Right. Okay. Yes. Means coal-based. Generally, we consume or we use that coal-based electricity or energy. So obviously, for that we need to use that thermal energy, or we need to use that coal. We need to burn that coal. So that's why, okay, there are many carbon emissions. Okay, and also that produces many harmful gases. So ultimately, it is not good for our Earth, right? But whereas when we talk about the solar energy, it is very clean and there is no any process. Next, Sanket.
So according to me, the advantages of the solar energy, which is solar energy is not expensive as so much as other energy, because as Parlo ma'am says that solar means sun is free for everyone, so it is not expensive as compared to the other energy. So I think this is the main advantages of the solar energy.
Okay, so you could say this is the means cheapest electricity, but in long run, like at present, when we talk about the rates of that solar energy, it's quite higher.
Yes, sir, but it is a one-time investment.
Right. Okay. Next, is there any other advantage?
I think, sir, if we are generate electricity, that time we need a lot of water. But in solar energy, there is no need of water or extra things.
Okay. Means we need some setups, transformers, transmission, or some we need area, okay, to produce that electricity. But when we talk about the solar energy, we only need some. We can set that solar panels on our rooftops, right?
Yes.
It also requires some setup, but for small medium enterprises, okay, they can use their land if they have that available land, or also some means people if we have our own houses, so we can install that solar panels on our terraces. Next.
And also, people actually after placing that panels on our terrace, people will get the energy, for a lifetime until that panel, in good condition. If we also take care about it, then it will give us many years.
Right.
Instead of that, suppose we using the electricity from which are actually in India, we are getting through the coal and other things. It's very expensive. We need to pay a bill on every month.
Right.
But while we are using this, we are no need to pay a single rupees.
So initially we need to set up that, or we need to install that solar panels. So for that we need some money, and once we install that solar panels on our terraces, so after that we don't need to pay any other bill or any other extra money for that. So we can continuously use that electricity, right? So this is the one kind of advantage. Next advantage.
We can use this in vehicles also. I heard about a person who created a bike, motorcycle in UP. He actually fitted a solar panel on his bike, and that bike can, run unlimitedly.
Yeah, right.
While the panel will get the solar energy from.
Yeah, because nowadays, if you observe, okay, in electrical segment, so there are many products or they run on solar panel. So there is some small chip, okay. So there are many electrical gadgets or equipments are available nowadays. So we can use those equipments or electrical equipments with the help of solar energy. So ultimately, there is no need to feed those cells or other things or electricity, right? Next advantage.
Advantage, we can help to nature while whenever we will using maximum solar energy, because due to that we will reduce the use of atomic energy, and we can say we are also using the plutonium in the plant, so it's also spreading lots of what we can say that.
Yeah, so basically
Poisonous gases in
solar energy is eco-friendly energy. So ultimately it will help to nurture our forest, right? And biodiversity.
Right. Even mining is also one of the example of that.
Right. So we can avoid that mining if people start using that solar energy in the long run. Yes. Next.
I think so. Space is a main advantages of the solar energy, because if you see the thermal plant required hectare of the plant means hectare of the land. But in solar plant we can put solar plant on terrace anywhere what you want. So I think this is the advantage of solar plant.
Yeah, as I have mentioned that, okay, for this, so we need transformers or we need some big offices, because transition and transmission of that electricity, right? Means, see, suppose electricity produces at one place, and we suppose we need to transform that energy or transmission of that energy from one place to end user. So obviously it takes some time, or it takes some there is a lot of money we need to spend. But by installing those solar panel on our terraces, immediately we can use that. So there is no extra money we need to pay for transmission of that electricity. Yes. Is there any another advantage?
Yes. We can save our we can reduce our electricity bill also. If in societies there is a solar plant for and that energy we can use for a lift, use for a generator. If society use electricity, then that electricity bill is very high, like 10 lakh, 5 lakh, 4 lakh. But if in that society there is solar panels, solar energy, then they reduce their bill.
Okay. Yeah. So nowadays, what happens in Pune or Mumbai or in urban areas? So if there are any societies where there are more than 200, 300 or 500 flats are there. So what they do? They form that society, and initially they make some money as a deposit. Okay. And by that money, they install that solar panel. So ultimately, it will help to reduce their burden while paying those electricity bills every month. Right. Next, is there another advantage?
It's also decreasing our health issues because of no harmful gases would be released. So that time we will feel safe.
Right. Obviously, means it's eco-friendly, so obviously it will impact on our human health as well, and also nature and forest.
And I think there is no need to import fuel or coal, like, because fuel or coal, it is important for electricity. But if we use solar energy, then there is no need to import that things.
Yeah. So I would like to also mention one point. So there is a security in using that solar energy. Why? Because what happens many times, generally we need that coal, then we need that crude oil. So as you know, recently there was a war between Ukraine and Russia. So because of that, prices were very high of that coal or crude oil. Okay. So sometimes we have to rely on other countries, right? Means for that to produce energy in our India. But if we have that solar energy, so obviously there is no need to rely on other countries. We can produce our own energy and we can use it by our own self.
And in rural area also, there is lot of electricity problem. So that time it is very useful for that people, because whole day that energy, solar, if there is any solar light, bulb or light, available, then at night, if there is no electricity, then that bulb will help to that people.
Yeah, I would like to continue your point. Okay, in rural area, okay, generally we can see the fluctuation of electricity, right? And as you know, farmers are rely on electricity. Without electricity, they cannot do farming, right? So what happens in rural area? Most of the time, more than 8 or 10 hours, there is a power cut, right? Or they don't have enough power supply. So if they have provision of these things, okay. So obviously it will help for their farming as well as in at nights also, as you have mentioned, okay. In means wherever there is a PMC or corporation area or corporation, so that time all those roads are okay is developed by corporation, but it doesn't happen in rural area. So it will help solar energy. Okay, now let's talk about the challenges. There are no any disadvantages, but we can say that challenges, there are many challenges. So discuss one by one. Let's discuss one by one.
The first of all, which is climate condition.
Okay.
Because in rainy season, or we can say that in winter season, sometimes sun is not there in sky.
Right.
So at that time, there is a challenge for solar energy.
Yeah, there are some limitations we can say. So as you know, okay, India, we have 3 or 4 seasons. To produce that solar energy, so we need enough sunlight. So in rainy seasons, sometimes in winter seasons, we don't get enough sunlight. So ultimately, that time we cannot produce the solar energy. So it's a kind of disadvantage, right? Next.
I think it's not affordable for everyone. Normal people can't afford because its initial price is very high, 1 lakh, 2 lakh kind of. So no one can afford initial. So
Right.
it's good for people who can pay, but not for everyone.
Yeah. See, I would like to continue your point. So it is not our priority at present, because people are struggling to get their means struggling to fulfill their basic needs like shelter or food or clothing, right? So means this is it doesn't come on their priority list, so that's why people are not ready to pay lakhs of rupees to install that solar panels, right? So and we don't have enough awareness also, and we don't have the mindset also. So that's why there is a big challenge to use that solar energy. Even we know there are many benefits, but people are not ready to buy or install those solar panels on their terraces or anywhere. So this is the disadvantage, right? Next disadvantage.
I think in every region in the world, they never receive enough sunlight. So it depends on fully how there is climate of that area.
Right. Okay, so means when we talk about the globally, so North Pole, South Pole, or the countries where those countries are covered with snowfall or ice, so there is no use of these solar panels, right? So it's a kind of disadvantage. So only few countries, okay, those who comes under that means where there is a summer season or enough sunlight, we can say only those countries can get benefit of the solar energy. So ultimately, it is the disadvantage. Next disadvantage.
I think it leads unemployment because if you see the example of the thermal plant, we required some laborers to put coal in that thermal plants and burn that coal. But in solar plant, we don't have any kind of the facilities. So only one worker can do the all those work. So I think this leads to the unemployment.
Yeah. So since last few decades, okay, we are relying on this traditional way, traditional method, okay, to produce that electricity, okay, by burning that coal. So obviously, we need that means we have some means uh, transformers, powerhouses. Then there are many offices where we pay the bill. So obviously, many people work in this industry. So if people will start using their solar energy, so ultimately it leads to unemployment. Right. Next.
Most of time we face suppose our station signals is working with solar energy. That
Right.
time we will face so much difficulty when sun is not there and rainy season. So suddenly signal is not working and we will face difficulty. So this is the challenge.
Yeah. So means you mean to say we cannot completely rely on solar system
Yes,
because
anytime it's
signal.
can.
Yeah. So when we talk about the signals, okay, at the squares. So obviously that has to be run at any cost in crowded
Yes,
area or generally in the morning or in the evening. So if there is in rainy season, so if those lamps are we can say run on the solar system, and if there is no any power supply, so obviously so we need to face problems that time. So it's a kind of challenge.
that time normal people can suffer very.
Right. Next.
I think solar to install solar panels, it's not possible for everyone economically. Some people also think like, why should we invest that much of amount just to get a hot water?
Right.
This kind of tendency in mostly in city area also,
Mhm.
and even in rural area, those poor people who not able to invest that much of amount because solar panels are too much costly nowadays.
Right. Right. I
So
would like
people
to.
not able to purchase.
Yeah, I would like to continue your point as you have mentioned that okay for water, hot water. So apart from that, okay, someone has mentioned cooking. I'll mention okay cooking. So see, there are suppose if we need to use that solar energy, so obviously we need such kind of gadgets or tools available in our home or equipments like cooker or other equipments like iron. Generally those all equipments are available electrical equipments, right? So we don't have that technology by which we can use those equipments with the help of solar energy. So that's why this is the biggest challenge or drawback. We don't have enough products, and that's why only we think that okay, so why should we install that solar panel to only get hot water? Generally it is used for only to get hot water and sometimes cooking, but I don't think people, even those people have their solar panels and they use for cooking purpose, right? So we don't have enough equipments, those who run on solar energy.
Because I think for cooking, it will get more time.
It takes a lot of time, right?
It takes a lot of time.
When we use our installation of solar plant, that time we will directly indirectly we will suffer for our health, because some kind of uh, waves they will catch and impact in our health that time, because
Okay.
it's not 100% safe.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Sunlight is also have so much different energy.
Yeah, they
And
have ultraviolet rays.
yes, so that time it will directly impact in our health.
I would like to mention one challenge. Okay, as all we have mentioned that the prices of those solar panels, okay, are in lakhs. So ultimately, there is no any bank or any financial institution, okay, who gives loan. Means if even I have that mindset, or even I am ready to, or I want to buy that solar panels, and if I am ready to pay that 2 lakh rupees, but I cannot pay entire money at a time, because nowadays, considering our Indian people, even we need to, or we want to buy a mobile, we purchase those mobiles on EMI, right? Or many things generally, or our bikes or cars, or any we can say the electrical equipments like washing machine, fridge. Sometimes generally people, most of the people, they prefer to buy on EMIs. So considering this, it means we are not ready to buy or spend that money, entire money at a time. So that's why it is the big challenge. So somehow there are no any financial institutions or bank, those who provide loan for these solar panels at present.
Yes, but sir, I think government gives us subsidy.
Okay.
But
yeah,
people not aware about that, I think.
Yes, Kisan Urja.
Yeah.
Yes, but after subsidy rate is also high.
So see, generally what happens, suppose if there is a lengthy process, okay, so suppose to get that subsidy from the government, suppose if we have to go many times in the government offices, so sometimes people are not show their interest to get that subsidy, and that's why they are not ready, right?
I think at the time it's not movable because plant size is very big.
So we cannot place
area.
We cannot move from one place
We
to another
cannot
place.
move. We cannot replace, because in Madhya Pradesh there is biggest solar plant in my maternal place, Riva.
Yes, I have heard about this.
I have seen.
Oh, good.
So in my maternal place, so when I
it is located in MP.
Yes, its biggest supply, total supply in Delhi metro and for electricity.
Good.
So it's not movable because it's captured so much land for those installation.
Hundreds of acres of lands it needs.
It's working in 1575, I think. Acre.
Yeah. So obviously, so means you mean to say we cannot shift that plant from one place to another place.
Yes, any certain.
Okay, so again, suppose normally what happens in our literary life, many times people shift their residences for their educational purpose, for their office purpose. Okay, so sometimes when we shift our residence from one place to another, so only just apply. We need to apply in MSAB and we get that electricity meter, right? But we cannot shift that entire plant, means solar plant, from one place to another place. So sometimes it hectic also, and we need to spend extra money for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a kind of challenge. Okay, so who would like to conclude today's session? Yes, Parul, would you like to conclude today's session?
Yes, as we discussed about solar energy, so solar energy is the advanced version of electricity, and we will habitual after next generation, we can say, because it's a new concept for India and Indian people. Most of people is going to aware about this, but it will take time. But it would be helpful for our next generation. It would be helpful for our economical also, and it will give economical and income wise also in our future.
Right. Yes. So that's it for today's session. So okay, bye bye. Have a great day. Bye.